Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this May 28th, 2022, brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. Well, there's a common theme this spring and over the last several weeks, and that has been cooler weather, and the wet weather is going to be found in parts of the Pacific Northwest and parts of the Central and Northern Rockies. That's going to be the case as we roll through this Memorial Day weekend. There's going to be some significant amounts of rain and snow for not everyone, but a lot of the northern areas, from the northern plains to the northern and central Rockies to parts of the Pacific Northwest and Great Basin will get wet. Good rain and, yes, mountain snow. We could see heavy mountain snow for the high mountains of Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and parts of Utah even, the Dakotas, and parts of Nebraska, and even northwest areas of Colorado. Long-term trends show precipitation potential into early June and cooler than average temperatures for the first parts of June across a large part of the western United States. We're hoping, especially as we get deeper into June, to get into some shower and thunderstorm activity in parts of New Mexico and Arizona that desperately need some rain. But at least over the next 5 to 7 days, it's going to be the central and northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest and parts of the northern Great Basin that get the most wet. Over the last week, we saw some very beneficial moisture over parts of southern Wyoming and eastern Colorado into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle areas here, especially Colorado. Colorado has not seen moisture like this in a long, long time. So this was great to see. Heavy snow in the mountains, significant amounts of rainfall in the plains. Some areas of Colorado picked up more moisture last week than they've seen in the last 2 months. Lighter amounts elsewhere. If you look at the precipitation anomaly, you can see the green and blue areas that had the heaviest precipitation, while the brown areas showing a little bit below average over the past week. The drought monitors changed a little bit. We've seen some improvements back up here. You can see the green shading and also some green shading here in Colorado where there's been some slight improvement in drought conditions. We'll see more improvement in this area here as we go into the next 7 to 10 days because of this low coming out of the Gulf of Alaska, off British Columbia, and heading to the Pacific Northwest. This has been a common theme this spring. These storms are basically coming in the same direction and taking the same path, and that's exactly what we're going to see with this system. So this is what it's going to look like for the majority of the Memorial Day weekend coming on up, with cooler weather coming back into the west. Really, it looks like through at least Wednesday of the new week, temperatures will be below average with off and on showers and thunderstorms over most of the western states, especially along and north of I-80, I-90, and along and north of I-70. As we get into next weekend, we should be trending warmer with high pressure building across the western United States. However, you can see there's 2 more lows back up here in the Gulf of Alaska, back up here into the Aleutians. This will feed disturbances and enough moisture that while it will be warmer by next weekend, there is going to be shower and thunderstorm activity and maybe even some moisture getting into New Mexico by late next week and next weekend to help form some showers and thunderstorms. So there is some encouraging trends into early June. If you look at the forecast for rain over the next week, this is between the weekend that we're talking now and next weekend, and you can see the northern areas here having the heaviest precipitation, getting down a little bit further south as well. Then we've got another area of showers and thunderstorms, and this is what we were talking about, down into Old Mexico, West Texas, and maybe into New Mexico. Finally, some chance for some rain-producing showers and thunderstorms here. Dry, though, at least here for a little bit longer in these areas. If you look at the snowfall, yep, we're still showing you snowfall maps. There will be snow maybe all the way down to the New Mexico-Colorado border and the high mountains there, but the heaviest snow is going to be in this zone right here, from the Bighorn Mountains to the Yellowstone Plateau to the high mountains of Idaho and southwestern Montana. There could be significant snows this Memorial Day weekend. Some areas up here are going to have 1 to 3 inches of water equivalent. So that'll be really, really good news there for the reservoirs and a late snowpack boost for those northern mountains of Wyoming and southern Montana. Temperatures over the next week. This is why we're talking about the coolness. Yes, it's still going to be warm in the southern plains and points east in the Corn Belt and the Midwest. But look at all the coolness that's going to be continuing to be confined to the western states. So this means that the first days of June and the last days of May are going to be cooler than average. So that is good because when it gets wet and you stay on the cool side of things, you have less evaporation going on and you can keep some of that moisture. Our next update will be, next month, June 4th. Have a great week ahead.